And here I am sitting with Dr. Wiren, my hero. He has been the biggest influence in my golf career for over 30 years. I've really been intrigued by, first of all, the Laws, Preferences, and Principles chapter of the PGA Teaching Manual, but also how you influenced golf fitness. You are the consummate teacher's teacher and the number one influence for me in golf, because I learned more from you than anybody else. I've researched everything around the world as much as I could, and you put it in a proper context. When you said to me, the ball doesn't care. That's so important. And we've always kind of been, although we've only had brief conversations, usually at the PGA show, we've always been on kind of the same wavelength in deference to our passion for the game and for how much we care about the growth of the game and the future of the game. So I want to thank you so much for being an inspiration for me. You're a pioneer. You are the number one influence in golf that's alive today.
Well, I'd like to stay around a little longer.
Well, and, the things that you do, I'm sure you will.
We did some of those things early on, technical kinds of things, and as I developed further in my career, I really was impressed with the importance of people having a good time in playing and having fun. And so I wrote a book in 2004. It was declared the best golf book written in that year, and it was called When Golf is a Ball. And so there's all kinds of stories in there. Some of them are emotional and kind of motivational, and some of them are just funny when you take a laugh. And I've learned as I've gotten older that it's important to be able to enjoy the game no matter how you're playing. And a lot of times I would preach this, but maybe not know the answer always. And a couple of years ago, I was on the first tee at Trump International. In fact, first of all, we were on the range, and there were a couple on there from Canada, a man and a wife, and they said, "Come on, why don't you join us for 9 holes?" So I said, "Okay, I can do that. Let me hit a couple more balls." We went out and played 9 holes. It was a nice day. I got done with the 9th green, off the 9th green, walked up with these 2 people, and I said, "Wait a minute, just stop. Let me tell you something." I said, "That was the worst 9 holes I have ever played here in 22 years. And you know what? I had a really good time because you people are so darn nice." And I'm finally catching on to what I've been preaching, is that you need to learn to enjoy it no matter what.
That's right. It's tough to balance the competitive nature that people have, but at the end of the day, everybody has a different perception of what it takes to have fun playing. Some people can have fun shooting 110. I totally respect that. And I'm getting, as I get older, a lot like that too. I used to be so competitive that I couldn't stand to go on the golf course when I played poorly. But you're also right, because even on days when I played poorly, there was an incident or some shot or some interaction with the players we were playing with that really made my day.
Yeah, as long as from a good shot, and then the opposite from a bad shot, and thinking of that, as a negative, which it is, that'll kill you, because golf is about positivity.
That's right.
I mean, you cannot be negative. Probably the greatest example of thinking positive is the champion of the holes and ones from Texas, 58 holes and ones. And he has, as a golf professional there, he said, "How can you have 58 holes and ones when you put Nicklaus together with Palmer and Player? They never had that, even close to that many."
Right.
And Mansell Davis is the pro's name. And he said, they asked him, how did you do that? He said, "Well, I don't have a good answer, I suspect, but every time I get on a par 3 hole, I picture the ball going into the cup."
How about that?
How about that?
Isn't that complex?
Yeah. So it's pretty good.
And that's what we want to do, is simplify the game and make it easier to learn with the modern technology. Not knowing when to integrate it, because golf is so much like life. We have to treat the beginner like an infant. And we have to start them with the simplest tasks so that they learn the language. But we can't let them fail that much. And our current model that we've been using forever, digging it out of the dirt, you're subject to tons of failure.
Yeah.
So the new model that we're teaching actually encourages people so much, and they get hooked so much faster because we build the skills before we put the ball in the way of the swing. Yeah. It's got to be a perfect practice swing first. Right. You have to prepare properly.
Exactly.
Who thinks they're going to be successful when they go in with no instruction, have a poor backswing, hit at the ball, and once in a while you might get lucky and connect with it, but at the end of the day, they're going to want to improve, right? And how are they going to do that? They're going to improve their backswing and their forward swing and the bottom of their swing. And that's it. It's very simple.
Well, early on, I started my golf with a new person that is brand new to golf. We started 1 foot from the hole on the putting green. And so their very first stroke was a success.
Right.
And we worked from there, and we didn't introduce much else after that. We might introduce a little stroke like a chip that was like a putt, that sort of thing, action. But you're absolutely right. There was a great teacher named Paul Bertheley from years ago who said, well, on the 8th, 9th, maybe 10th lesson, then we introduced the ball, and he was very effective. And so I like the concept of learning to make a swing before you're trying to hit the ball.
That's right. You let the ball get in the way of what you develop a perfect practice swing, then you let the ball get in the way of it. And it's very well refined because we use indoors and mirrors. And with this COVID thing that went on, it was a great opportunity to actually, I wish we had the model out before then because everybody's sequestered at home. And you could simply start from a hole 1 foot. That's exactly how you start. And then we learn how to hit a 1 yard in the air, 1 lever chip.
Exactly.
With a lofted club. So you learn to hit the lofted club low, the driver high, and we actually have people making full swings with a driver even in the very first lesson of a beginner with tremendous results. So really excited about what we're about ready to release in a couple months there, and it all was inspired by you. And collectively, this isn't my deal. Everybody knows that. There's no secrets, okay? The secrets in the golf swing are the simplicity of the golf swing, and they've all been revealed back in the early 1900s. What we've done is we've identified them and said, this is why. Yeah. And it's provable, and people understand it. It's so important that we're not only simple, we're sequential, we're logical. People get it. We're also scientifically validated. But the most important thing is it's wildly effective, and if all teachers taught something similar, considering idiosyncrasies and personal preferences, and even preferences in teaching, as long as they don't deviate to the extent away from a fundamental impact, knowing that the club movement it's all the same. When you see a specific ball flight from a great player, you can basically tell the numbers at impact now that I've been using technology, the actual height of the ball and all that, and the swing could look a lot different. You could have 2 players sitting there, backswing, Matthew Wolf, but their forward swings look very similar. And at the bottom of the swing, identical.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And that's why it's simple. But, golf is a game of precision, and that's what people have to understand. So we can't get stressed out when we hit bad shots because missing the center of the club, that's pretty easy to do with a big swing, especially on the side hill lies and whatnot.
The biggest, most important quote I had in the teaching manual, which took me 2.5 years to write, through 21 pages or so, but the most important quote was from a Hindu philosopher, and it said, "This is my way. What is your way? There is no the way." Now, when we're talking about what you're talking about, same idea. There's a principle that has to be done, but it can be done many different ways as long as you arrive at the conclusion that is going to be effective. But whether you take it outside on the backswing or inside or whatever you can do, that's part of it. It isn't just about that the teachers, this is my method. Well, not everybody fits your method.
Right.
So if your method is learn to swing the golf club and let that be the technique that you're trying to get them to hit the ball. I take people and I say, they take a swing. I said, what are you trying to do? He said, I'm trying to hit the ball. I said, that's not your that's not your responsibility. They said, what do you mean? I said, that's the club's responsibility. Your job is to swing it, okay? So let's learn how to swing it and let the club do its job.
Right.
And a little different way to twist it, but one that makes sense.
And that's what a model is about. It's about creativity being allowed into a well-defined thing that can be measurable. So what we want to find out statistically is we want to measure improvement over a course of years' time with a bunch of beginners, existing golfers with flaws, we call them the confused sector, because look what YouTube has done to us and all the books that we've seen over the years and the branding of methods as you speak to. The model means that we're going to do physical testing. We take biometrics into account, and there's, Jimmy Ballard, lateral motion, back and through. Those type of things work. We know that, so we're not against any of that. But what we're trying to do is develop the fastest, easiest way that hooks the highest percentage of golfers on golf, eliminates the confusion from the existing golfers with flaws, so they all of a sudden start to accelerate their learning process and improvement. They play more golf.
And one of the problems with, again, trying to hit the ball, put your right hand out just solid like that. Now, don't let me move it much, okay? You ready? Okay, and you feel that? Okay, that's a tight, I've got a tight right hand, okay? Now I got a relaxed right hand.
Right.
Okay? That's the difference. It's the difference between tension. You cannot play any sport with tension. I'm going to shoot a basketball free throw, tighten up my bicep. It's not going to even hit the rim. You see, when I throw a pass, I was an All-American quarterback in college. You throw a pass, I don't tighten my arm up, but when the people swing a golf club, they think, I got to hit it, with their right side, and they tighten up, and it kills the speed, and it kills the path and the angle of approach, and the whole works.
Everything.
So you've got to learn to be a little bit more relaxed, and you want to be relaxed through the ball. When I taught boxing at Michigan, you didn't hit a guy in the nose like that. You hit him in the back of the head. See, you went through with what? With rotation. See, it wasn't through like this. It was through with rotation. That's a golf swing. It's through with rotation a little bit. So anyhow, those are some things you employ. And then some of the methods today do not have much rotation because they've got the club shut at the top, and they're not trying to rotate, and they come down and just kind of hold it like that. But not many people can do that. Those got to be pretty darn strong to do that.
Yeah, and I find one of the biggest problems in today's instruction is there's too much body-oriented instruction that doesn't fit early in the process, and people's bodies get ahead of their arm swings. They think they can turn their hips for power. Heck, I've never seen a ballroom dancer win a long drive contest. Yeah. And I've seen athletes, hockey players, baseball players, who focus on freedom of motion with proper muscular readiness to optimize their acceleration through the hitting area by using length of arc, width of arc, and intention.
I'm not a big fan of talking about let's get faster hip rotation. And then I get some of the people on the range I'm looking at, they're not going to move these hips very fast, I'll guarantee you, because they just don't have it takes a lot of flexibility.
Right.
So at any rate, it's nice if you can do it, and if you can't. And there can be different unusual ways. I remember Jim Furyk, for example. Jim Furyk has one of the most unusual but successful golf swings in golf.
Plus he's a shot shaper too.
Very good. And his dad used to work with Tommy Armour Company. He was a salesman, and I was worked with the Armour Company, giving them lectures and things of that nature. And so I talked with his dad, and I said, how's your son doing? He was a senior in high school. Jim, you mean Jim? Yeah. He said, well, he's doing very well. He's got all kinds of college coaches that are here that are, talking to me. And I said, one came the other day and said, Mr. Furyk, we'd love to have your son in our school, and we'll take really good care of him. He's in the right of living comedy and all this, and we'll fix up his swing, and we'll and there's the moment he said, we'll fix up the swing, he said, I know one school he's not going to. So that's...
if you're a good player at that point, you're not fixing anybody's
Right.
swing.
That's right. So he just won the PGA Seniors this last...
Oh, yeah. He's from our
Few months
area.
ago.
Amazing guy. They do great things for charity. Amazing family.
Good.
And I've stood next to him in the range and talked with him and watched him shaping shots. And he's pretty extraordinary. What you do notice about him, which is interesting, is how close he is to the ball.
Yeah.
The farther away you are, the harder it is to hit. I like to sum up the golf swing in a simple manner in saying that it's the simultaneous extension, acceleration, and rotation of the arm swing. By cause and effect, the body will rotate. You don't have to focus on it that much. So if we, go back here, and it can feel body oriented, certainly. And I really think it's greater if you do get to the point where you feel like you're just turning back and turning through. But you better learn to swing the club first, right? And how you do that is pretty specific in terms of what I've noticed doing studies over the years and how people develop and how they learn. But again, it's just, we're teaching back swing, forward swing, and then not putting the ball there as a distraction and a great opportunity for failure, obviously, predictable opportunity for failure. That makes people's confidence go away, and it leads to the game being that time-consuming, difficult game to learn. And that's really the emphasis of the model. And the future teaching, I hope, goes this direction so that we do show people that they can learn this game pretty quickly. Well, Dr. Wiren, we could sit here and talk golf teaching and golf instruction for a week straight. But I tell you what, these folks out here, they don't want to hear that. We really want to see your library and your museum. This is absolutely mind-boggling what you have in here, and we'd love to have you give us a little tour.
Well, I will do that, and I just will correct a little bit what you said, and that is they don't want to learn that. Yes, they do. They want to learn the things that you just told them, and they were the kind of simple things that they can do. And so that combination of doing what you're suggesting here, and then they can have some fun out of seeing historical things. But what you've said has been very important.
I appreciate that, Dr. Wiren.
Okay.